as you can see, is the Liberty vote. So who should get that? I mean, how many of you think it should go to Donald Trump? No. Gary Johnson! Well, hang on that. Michael John, a Tea Party leader, says he'll vote for Trump and thinks everybody should. So welcome. And
thank you.
You've got a tough audience here.
That's okay.
We don't think of Trump as a liberty guy.
That's part of the challenge of this candidacy, is that he's going to have to win, I think, establish a lot of credibility with the conservative movement, which to the credit of this liberty movement, libertarians, and traditional conservatism, has really become the foundation of the Republican Party.
And you're a Tea Party guy.
I am. I'm a co-founder of the Tea Party movement and run Tea Party Community.com, so I'm very aware, actually, of some of the trepidation that might exist out there from the liberty and libertarian movement as it relates to Trump.
Yeah, well,
but I think his positions are defensible.
Building a big wall.
I don't think it's any secret to anyone that we have in ISIS and global terror movements generally a great degree of commitment to penetrating into this country. They intend to exploit the open border. So number one, this is a flat-out national security issue, which is really a foundational principle, I think we would all agree, of government enumerated in our Constitution. Number two, the employment situation in this country is abysmal, as bad as it's ever been. We start by defending liberty, by making America strong. He uses this phrase, make America great again. You might consider it a cliche.
Over and over again.
It's not a cliche, however. America needs to be great in the sense that we're creating jobs, we're defending our country, we're respected around the world, and we have restored ourselves to the principles that once guided the country. Foreign workers are being brought in ostensibly because the skill sets that they offer are not available in our labor force. Well, in reality, what those that are encountering this are learning is those skill sets absolutely do exist. These foreign visas are being issued to bring people in to train their replacements and to drive wages down. So the deflationary...
But Donald Trump, your candidate, did that on his golf course. He had local applicants. He said they weren't any good, and he was getting...
I think to look at this Trump candidacy, you have to, and this is a leap of faith, admittedly, you've got to look at it in a... Okay, but as it is with any candidate that you want to discuss here. Okay, every one, I could sit here and rattle off areas that will give you good reason to not have trust and to have deep concerns, all right? As it relates to Trump, he's not a professional politician. He's not spent his life watching every word he said.
Is he for single-payer health care?
No, and I don't know. I would like to know, and I think a lot of people closer to this campaign would like to know where that comes from. You hear Ted Cruz say it all the time, but when you hold on a second. When you discuss an expansion of medical savings accounts, when you discuss what he called the lines, which is getting rid of the lines, which is really getting rid of the interstate restrictions that exist on the purchase of health insurance, you are talking about strengthening a private sector, not a public sector, healthcare system.
And then we'll have so much winning, you'll get sick of winning.
Now here's
Trump. You have questions for Michael. Come to the microphone. Oh, they're eager to talk to you.
Okay.
How can you, as a Tea Party member, say that you support freedom if you don't support free and open borders? And how can you say that you're a fiscal conservative if you support candidates that want endless war?
Okay, I think you could make the argument that Trump, more than any other candidate, has been a critic of our engagement in Iraq, clearly has raised major reservations about nation building. He's the only GOP candidate who has said openly and forthrightly that our engagement in Iraq was a mistake without being pushed into it. He said that proactively.
He has been less vocal about going to war than Cruz, Rubio, Bush, Kasich, the other Republicans.
But if those people are Tea Partiers as well.
Now, to your earlier issue of the border, you have to decide, are we in the business of building a world aligned with our ideological principles at the surrender of our country, or are we in the business of defending a country and having a country?
Now, it's my understanding the Tea Party came about as a rebellion of big government.
Yes.
But Donald Trump is an authoritarian across the board and supports big government across the board.
Well, let's take a look at it. Number one, if you've had a chance to review his tax policy, which if you haven't, you should go and take a look at it on the site. Big cuts, okay, including at every margin.
No cuts in spending, but
and into. He is a clear ally of our position that we share collectively against Common Core and federal engagement in education. He's been very forthright in saying that the federal government has overstepped that. He's a champion of school choice. And I think you're looking at a candidate who would be the first to say, yes, I acknowledge this government's gotten too big, out of control, filled with waste.
Thank you, Michael John, for taking these questions. Coming up.